Have you ever heard of the saying, kukopa ni harusi, kulipa ni matanga? Yes, today we are talking about the debt trap. Kuomba pesa. I know most of you out there, my age, we borrow a lot of money, be it from a friend, for no reason. It could just be to go on a holiday, to buy some clothes, just because it's available for you. It's easier for you to just borrow money. And today we're joined by Roy and Patrick. And before the break, we were talking about reasons why the youth borrow money. And let's talk about gambling. Do you think that's like one of the major reasons people borrow money? And like gambling can actually be like an addiction. The other day there was a story about a guy who killed himself because now he found himself in debt, owing millions. So do you think like it's one of the major, we could start with you, Roy, reasons?
Thank you. I'm happy you mentioned gambling because there is a sharp connection between gambling and the trap of debt. And it runs both ways. It's a cycle that can begin from either way. There are people who will start by borrowing, ordinary borrowing, and then one day they get trapped. They realize they're in a fix. And then they begin looking for shortcuts. And someone tells them, if you gamble, you could win money and come and clear your debt mess. And so they start trying in the hope that they will win money and come and clear what they are going through here. When they go the other end, they realize that gambling is also sweet, because when they're about to give up, something tells them that perhaps the next trial is the one that will give them the money.
That will be your lucky.
And they don't even have the money to gamble. They have to go and borrow some more to come and try their luck, hoping that they'll get money to come and clear this. Before they know it, they've been addicted, because gambling is highly addictive. Now, when they get addicted to gambling, then it means they can't stop borrowing, because they have to keep coming to gamble, right? So that's one way it can start. Now, there are others who will start gambling. They are not in debt, but they've been introduced to gambling. And so they start doing it. And it looks so interesting. Once in a while, they get a shilling here or there. But they don't realize they're also losing, because the difference between gambling and investment is that in the long run, gambling is designed to fleece you. But investment in the long run, if you remain steady, it is designed to benefit you. Now, so before they know it, they're addicted to gambling, right? And then they realize one day they don't have money to gamble. So it introduces them into borrowing, because then they have to borrow to keep gambling. And before they know it, they're already also trapped in debt. So it becomes a cycle that is, the debt and gambling are dependent on each other. Now, it's a very serious thing. I have met cases where families have broken because of the link between gambling and the trap of debt, right? Where someone is addicted to gambling, and as a result, they are now addicted to borrowing. And when they get their money at the end of the month, they take all the money into gambling, hoping that they will strike the jackpot. Then their problems will disappear, right? And I have met so many of such cases where families have had to just break because one party cannot just live to go through the repercussions of not having money at home. And it's not that we are not earning, but we are earning but taking the money to places that are not helpful, to an extent where food cannot be found in the house. So it's a serious addiction, very serious addiction, and it has pushed people into this mess in a big way.
Do you also think the state of the economy has big part to play in borrowing money, finding yourself in a debt trap?
Sure, yes, the current state of the economy contributes. But before I cover that, I would like to echo what Roy has said and say gambling, or rather the government did something very good to shut down and ban gambling, because it has reached an extent whereby if you give a youth, when I used to go to the village and I give somebody 100 bob,
they run.
The first thing that person runs to is to a gambling shop. instead of even buying a packet of milk or some food.
Yeah.
So the government did something very good to ban and stop gambling, so that the youth can be wired or can put their energies in activities income generating activities.
Yeah.
Instead of trying their luck in
the gambling. But if you have to think of it, gambling actually started a long time ago. What was it called? The charity sweepstake?
Yes,
where
yes,
you'd buy like a 10 shilling and scratch,
yes,
and then you don't win, and then you go again and borrow.
yes, yes.
But I guess now it's more out there. It's on TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before it was something very minimal.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now let's come to the economy. The current economic state has not been very good or very conducive, especially to the youth, because if you look at most of the startups, most of the youth are the ones who are trying to venture into business.
Yeah.
And just like employment, you find that most of those tenders, maybe the supplies they would wish to do within the counties or the government agencies, all of the requirement is experience. Or this is a huge requirement of saying that you must have a very stable or well-funded bank account. Some of those requirements have been locking out the youth. And because they have the energy, some of them have very good skills, but they lack the financial capital, the financial might to take up on huge projects.
Yeah.
You find that most of the youth are locked out in areas that they can very well help the government or the counties to manage.
Yeah.
Therefore, maybe it's an opportunity for us to request the government to a bit to make the environment conducive for the youth. They should ask them to bring very few requirements. Of course, the quality and the quality of work should be up to standard. But that huge requirement of telling them to bring very huge bank statements and financial backing can be a bit. The projects can be split into small portions to enable the youth and women participate in those tenders and service provision to various government agencies.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, the government has also been trying very hard with the leadership of the governor, Mr. Patrick Njoroge. They've been trying to stabilize. They've done a very good job of trying to stabilize the economy and try to bring it, or rather try to increase or improve the economic growth rate from, I think last year it was 5.5. This year I think there's some positiveness in it, and it's going to move to maybe around 6%, which is good because once the economy grows, it grows across the board, all sectors, all sections, all towns. And this week also, there's that 3 billion that the president gave to the coffee farmers. That will go a long way in improving the livelihoods and the status of the economy in the agricultural sector, which is the backbone of the Kenyan economy. So there's a lot of positive prospects in the Kenyan economy, and we are very positive about it.
Roy, what do you think about? What do you think about the current economy?
The state of the economy.
Yes.
I want to agree with what Peter has said, but at this point I want to throw in a different twist. There has been the general view that because the economy appears to be struggling, and many people don't seem to feel the impact of any growth in their financial lives, therefore it is necessary or mandatory for someone to be in debt. I actually meet people who say with the current situation you can't avoid to borrow. And it has made some people to believe that what they earn is little.
Yeah.
So let me address the mind at this point, because the mind is very critical in determining how far you go financially and in every other aspect of life. When I train about money, there's a segment I've made mandatory regardless of the training I'm doing, which I call characteristics of money. And one of them that I say is there is no small money. Right? There is no small money. Money requires you to plan for it, like Peter mentioned. If you don't plan for your money, however big it is, you'll be so shocked it is so little.
Yeah.
I like asking guys in organizations, if HR today gave you the powers to determine how much you want to be paid, what will you tell them? That will find you off. You might actually struggle. Yet on the other hand, it is easier for you to say they pay you little because the economy is struggling. So what I'm trying to say is we need to be cautious with the way we spend our money. We need to realize that with what we have, we could still do a lot. Only if we became true to ourselves. Only if we were keen and deliberate with the way we want to spend our money. Only if we remember that money speaks one language. If you save me today, I will save you tomorrow. Right? So whatever you earn, however little it looks to you, if you're able to plan yourself properly and be true to yourself, that means avoid living beyond your means. You know, the temptation for many of us is we put the cart in front of the horse. We want to live our future life and hope that one day our means will follow us and accommodate us where we are. And that is why we will be borrowing for lifestyle enhancement and hope that one day our income will follow us and accommodate us. What we say is it is not bad to grow your living standard, but grow your means first and then let your standard follow the means. Right? That way then you avoid unnecessary pressure. Because this other one is like gas fire. It will be up so fast, we will admire you, and in the next few days you're struggling and you don't have where to put your face. And simply because you thought the economy was bad and it was reason enough for you to supplement your income with debt. We must remember debt is not income and debt is not free money. So yes, while the economy will want to push people into a certain corner, and especially the way my brother has mentioned, it is also true that some people have been made to believe that because generally the economy is being said not to be performing, is reason enough for them to be borrowing. And some people have gotten to a level where they look at debt as part of their income. I have asked people, tell me your sources of income, and they will write salary this much. Then they will say, I have a limit from this app for this much, I have a limit for this much. So it's gotten to a level where you now consider it as part of your income.
It becomes your
such
salary
that,
as well.
Yes, it's part of your salary. You can't do without it. That if it is withdrawn from your life, then you will seriously struggle. So we have to remember and tune our minds to believe that we can still go far with what we think, the little that we have. The journey of wealth creation is a journey of patience. I like saying that wealth creation and patience are twins and they work together, identical twins. And so you cannot do wealth creation without being patient. The danger in modern days is that many of us want quick fixes. And so I'll meet Peter today and I see the kind of car Peter is driving, and I don't know the experience of Peter. Peter has been in the industry for 30 years. And I see this kind of like, I need to have this on the road tomorrow. And that time I've only been working for the last 2 years. Honestly, we are already creating a future crisis by wanting to live every life at once, at a go. So that would be my twist to the economy bit.
Now let's talk about people who end up suffering on behalf of these people who take the loans, for instance. Do you think people know exactly what it means to be a guarantor? Because you're there signing for your friend, you're in a circle. They come, nisainie. You don't even bother looking at the amount because you know they're your friends. And then they lose their job or they get another job and then they stop paying. And then they disappear. And then now you're stuck there with your salary that's being cut for someone else's crimes. And then now you also have to find yourself now in a state where you have to borrow because then now you're suffering.
Now, let me start by saying this. When you guarantee, you have borrowed. Right?
So that's also part of borrowing.
Yes, that's where we need to start. I have had the chance to speak in so many circles during their education days. And one of the things I observe when it is question and answer session mostly before I get to speak, I will hear people asking the SACCO administration, the SACCO management, that you need to do something about deducting us for people who made away with the money we signed for them and such things. And even in the bank where I was before, we could meet cases where a guarantor comes, and because the bank has tried to pursue the principal borrower in vain, and therefore the fallback plan is on the guarantor, and you would meet guarantors trying to put up a case that I shouldn't really suffer for this. But when we go back to the deed of guarantee that they signed, we get a clause there that is so clear that you are agreeing that in the event
that they cannot pay,
then you will come in to help. Now, I think as guarantors, and this eats people a lot, especially in the SACCO world, we have to at least be sure that we know what we are doing. In terms of, we are not just signing for the sake of signing. I know there is the temptation of, let me sign for them because they will also sign for me when my turn comes. And so you end up signing even for people you've never seen. All right? Before you guarantee, do your own due diligence. Get to know the person you are guaranteeing. Look at the amount they are borrowing. Ask yourself, in the event that this thing is not repaid, am I comfortable standing in for them, right? And in case these people disappear, where else can I get them? Do your own due diligence. And by the way, you lose nothing by saying no, right? Because I have met cases, so many of them where people guaranteed and they are now being deducted. And because someone disappeared or someone lost their job, it's even better or rather different when they lost their job. You can try to understand. There are cases where people have disappeared. Others are actually working elsewhere, but they can tell you on your face that I'm not going to pay. And that's just it. So you have to be cautious. And always remember that when you guarantee, you have borrowed. Right? And I don't remember the exact verse even in the book of Proverbs. We have been reminded that if you stand in for someone in debt, you should be prepared, because if they don't pay, even your own bed will be carried from you.
What do you think about that?
Well, thank you. The issue of guaranteeing is a very controversial issue because personally, I've been in banking for 30 years, having been employed previously for around 25 years in various banks, and now earning the micro credit called Jenge for 5 years. So all along my life, I've been lending and encountering guarantors and different types of lending methods. However, when it comes to guaranteeing, it's been a very controversial issue, because you find somebody has guaranteed something, people are given forms, they just sign.
That's what I was even saying. Like, are people aware of what they're doing? Because most of the time, even when you're signing, you're not just signing for anyone. It's normally your friend. So then you believe your friend will not do something like that to you until they vanish.
I've encountered cases whereby somebody tells me, yes, I guaranteed. I signed the form, I didn't even ask or check. I didn't turn the form to see the amount. And that person was borrowing $1 million. You who is signing for that guarantee of 1 million, your income is not even more than 100,000. And now the situation, when we start invoking or getting contacts for the guarantors, in most cases, the debt has turned bad. So when you call somebody, he tells you, yes, I signed. Or rather, I can't even remember signing. But when you call them and ask them whose signature is it, they say, yes, I met this person along a corridor. And I signed. He's my friend. Or he signed for me, for my debt. He guaranteed me, and me, I paid mine. Now you're telling me he has not paid. Or did.
True.
But there's a law that was passed like a few months ago, last year, that was saying that before financial institutions start dealing with the guarantor. They must exhaust they must have gone through, exhausted all the avenues of recovering money from the principal debtor. I don't know, well, it might take some time because in most cases you find that they are trying to say that the principal debtor must be declared bankrupt before you even start pursuing the guarantor. But we are yet to, yes, the year is still very young. We are yet to see how that one is going to be operationalized, because at times there's a case I was handling last year whereby once the guarantors realize that the principal borrower has failed to pay, they also start transferring their assets because they know very soon they will be pursued. So those are areas that we are, as financiers, we are trying to see how it's going to be handled and how successful it will be.
Okay. As we wind up, Roy, maybe you can quickly give a word of advice for the youth out there who find themselves in such situations and then probably now on the verge of depression and want to even kill themselves because now they're in debt, owing everyone money. Because even the youth end up going to Shylocks, and Shylocks, you know, don't play. They send goons along to beat you up and take your things. Yeah, so just quickly a word of advice.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'll encourage those that are struggling with debt not to give up, to speak out. There's help out here. We can always talk. They can look for my book, Breaking Free from the Trap of Debt. It has nuggets of ways that can help you even have some therapy at home, even before you look for an expert. So I want to tell them not to give up, because it's a journey that can be successfully traveled. Secondly, I want to say that they need to be cautious, especially those that have not been trapped, cautious with the way they spend their money, knowing that they can still accomplish what they want to accomplish in life, even with the money that they have, and to remember that to always be disciplined. To go far financially, one must be willing and bold enough to make unpopular decisions. Unpopular decisions are decisions that don't follow wind, are decisions that are not pegged on what your friends are doing. You have to remember that financial journeys are personal journeys, that when the rain starts beating you, the friends you are impressing will not be there. In fact, if they'll still be there, they'll be part of those who are laughing at you or asking you questions. How come you found yourself here? So you have to be true to yourself, live your own life, and where you are in doubt, ask those that have been ahead of you who can help you figure out how to go about your journey in the financial world.
And where can they find you and your book as well?
This is the book you're talking about, Breaking Free from the Trap of Debt. To get me or get this book, they simply need to get in touch. I think I can give them the number. 0713 49 7172. 0713 49 7172. I'm also available on all social media platforms. Roy Okonji. Let us just keep talking. Then we get to see what to do about it. Thank you so much.
Patrick, where can people find you if they want to also try out Jijenge?
Yeah, thank you.
And also just briefly, a word of advice to the youth.
Word of advice to the youth: be patient. Actually, it's a summary of what my brother Roy has said. Be patient. Rome was never built in a day. And don't follow peer pressure. It will land you in very hot soup. And as for Jijenge, we are in townhouse, 6th floor, Kaunda Street in Nairobi. We have a branch along Ridgeways. And the beauty of working or borrowing from Jijenge is that as we don't, we have a very unique feature of those people who are in debt, which we call debt rescheduling or repackaging the debt, such that if your incomes have gone down from, assuming you're earning 100,000 and currently you're earning 20,000, we readjust, we reschedule the facility to suit the current financial income. We don't go ahead and list in CRB or auction or whatever. No, it's a journey. We go through that journey with our customers until the day they'll be able to pay our debt. All customers are welcome. Another beautiful thing is that customer service experience is fantastic, and our rates are the lowest in town. And we serve all Kenyans equally, all religions, and you're welcome.
Thank you so much, guys.
Maybe our contact,
Okay.
I can share our contact.
Yeah.
Our contacts are 0700 282727. 0700 282727. Welcome all.
Thank you so much, guys. So thank you. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. If you want some advice, you can go to Roy. If you want to borrow some money, you can go to Patrick. So that has been Perspectives. We were talking about the debt trap. Remember, you can keep talking to us on social media. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Let us know what you feel. Let us also know what topics you'd like us to discuss. And I'd like to thank this amazing, amazing space. We are at Victoria Courts, which is right next to Panari. Actually, they're our neighbors at Standard Group. They have amazing, amazing pieces, especially their beds. Oh my goodness, I'm walking out with one, by the way. They have the Boston Queen bed, they have the Sligo Queen bed, and also the Alena Queen bed. So make your way to Victoria Courts along Mombasa Road, just right next to Panari. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we have Catherine Mwangi.